TV. Partner with us in advancing the kingdom. Did you know that Elevate TV is sustained through the generous contributions of our valued viewers and ministry partners like you? Your financial support enables us to continue broadcasting life-transforming content that promotes a kingdom lifestyle across Africa and beyond. We invite you to send your love gift today and become part of this impactful mission. You can do so through M-Pesa till number 532-9905. And for the international audience, use Wave Remit 0706 655 554. For more information, call or text 0719 666 655. Elevate TV is an award-winning Christian broadcaster reaching millions across the continent and beyond with uplifting Christ-centered programming. Join us in shaping a generation for the kingdom.
Elevate TV, advancing kingdom lifestyle.
Good day, depending on where you're tuned in from. This is a Thursday morning digest, and as always, we come to you live from the Elevate TV studios, right at the heart of the city of Nairobi. Today, we are talking about money matters in families, in marriage, and we have our guest in studio who will be talking to us about it, and it will be a continuation of the discussion we began last month. So if you didn't watch that episode, we will share it on our social so that you are able to get it and then build from there. But today we still have a lot in store for you, and she's ready to share more tips, more nuggets to help us so that we are able to manage our finances well, and most importantly, within the family setting. Before we go into our discussion, are you aware that the Standing Strong Conference is happening next week? Have you registered? Please look out in our socials. We are on Facebook, we are on TikTok, we are all over. Just go register for the conference. It's a powerful conference. Mighty men and women of God will be speaking to us and just teaching us on how we can navigate in these very, very delicate times that we are living in. So please make a point of registering and attend. It will be happening next week from the 17th. It will be at Uhuru Park every day from 9 a.m. So please make a date with us and join us for this powerful conference. Okay, so on to our program today. It's good to see you, Vicky. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to host you.
Thank you.
So for the sake of our viewers who may not know you, just introduce yourself and then we can pick it up from there.
And thank you. So good morning, viewer. My name is Vicky Kedemi. I am a marriage and family therapist who's always very happy to be here. Yes.
All right. Thank you. So we started talking about families. last month
Yes.
when you were on the show, and money matters especially, and we looked at quite a number of issues. So maybe you can just give a brief recap for the benefit of those who may not have watched it.
Yes.
And then we pick up our discussion from
All
there.
right, all right. Happy to. Though there is so much we talked about, I am looking at all these things we talked
Yes.
about and wondering which one to just highlight and which one not to. However, let's first say that money is good. Yeah.
Okay.
Money is not bad.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And even the Bible talks about the root of all evil being the love of money.
Yeah.
Not money itself. Because if you look at the world, life will not really revolve well when we don't have money.
Yeah.
And the lack of money, which is the foundation of most of our lives, then brings us money trauma.
Yeah.
And in money trauma, you find poverty is one actually of the adverse childhood experiences,
Okay.
where a child didn't know where their next meal is coming from, where a child didn't know, or they were thrown out of a house because they couldn't pay rent. The parents could not pay rent, where some of us were brought in so much poverty that you even questioned your spirituality, you even questioned this God who is a loving God, who provides, yet was not providing for you as a child.
Yeah.
And so lack of money, which most of us grew up in, brings us money trauma.
Okay.
And because of that, and our relationship with money then changes, our perception of money then changes. Because there are those things in our heads we tell ourselves, I can't afford that. I mean, even right now, there's one time I walked into a store, beautiful dresses. And I got in and asked the price, and I was told one was 20,000 shillings. And I very quickly was like, oh, thank you very much. And I quickly got out of that store. What was in my head was that I can't afford that dress. How am I wearing 20,000 shillings as a dress? Yet, I could have gone and bought 1,000 dresses and have 20 of them.
Yes.
You see, that is a scarcity mentality that comes with the lack.
Yeah.
That came from where we are coming from.
Yes.
And even when God now blesses me and God blesses us, and we now have more money,
Yeah.
and we are able to spend on ourselves, some of us now will either hold that money and have that scarcity mentality,
Yeah.
where I have, but it is not to be spent. And then now with that foundation of where we are coming from a family of origin, comes money personalities. Yeah, money personalities where we have hoarders, the ones who just want to keep the money to themselves.
Yeah.
You're making money, but it is just being saved or being in the bank or in the M-Pesa. So that every time you're checking your balance,
you feel good when you see it.
When you see the balance, you know. Or it makes us spenders, where it comes in and goes out the same very quickly.
Yeah.
Then we are making it. And then now we can't live like that.
Yeah.
Then we have gamblers. Those who want to make more with little, and in the head you're thinking, if I can just put that 10,000 and get 100,000, nimeomoka, so let me just throw it in. And then people gamble even their salaries, they gamble money for food, they gamble rent, money for rent.
Yeah.
And then problems continue. Then we have money warriors.
Yeah.
People who just worry constantly about money to a point that somebody is getting, ulcers because they are constantly worried about money. Yeah. Then we have those ones who are nonchalant about money. It is there, it doesn't affect my life. My life moves on. We can't have that.
Okay.
Because you need the money for your life to be able to, to move on. So money personalities come from how we were raised, how we were reared. Then we have bad money habits that we pick from our family of origin. Things like debt. There are people who are chronic debtors.
Yeah.
They are constantly in debt. In these money apps that are on the phone, you find somebody is everywhere. They have borrowed money from all these people. They have borrowed from the kiosks in the neighborhood. They have borrowed in the workplaces. Because that is how they saw their parents living. We have people who overgive because that is how they get their dopamine. That is how they get their feel-good hormone.
Yeah.
So I have my money. I may not have budgeted well. Again, things like budgeting we did not learn from our family of origin.
Yeah.
A lot of our family of origins never taught us money and financial literacy and money wellness. We just lived and saw how money was, and the constant story was money doesn't grow from trees.
Yeah.
So you have somebody who just constantly overgives because they get that value.
Yeah.
They are made to feel good about themselves by giving that appreciation. That is what they are looking for. We have savior complex, somebody who wants to save everybody. We have people who will go picking everybody in the street and taking them home. Yeah, because there's a need. And now today we know that's risky.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe you're driving and you see somebody who wants a lift and you carry them. Some are genuine, but some are not very genuine. You know, and these are things that will bring problems in the couple and in the family. Then we have underspending, overspending, and lack of financial boundaries, where we have money but it has no name. And we are cautioned to give money the name, so that if I have 100,000 shillings here, I know this 100,000 shillings is for maybe fixing my mom's roof.
Yeah.
Or I am doing something, there's money for Chama there, I have money to repair something, I'm buying so and so a dress, I'm buying this one. But if it's just lying there and it has no name, anything that comes will take away.
Yeah.
We'll take it. And then I'll be left running. See, but I had money, but you see, you had not named it.
Yeah.
So we are learning as we go. And it is interesting. And I don't know how information runs in Kenya.
Yeah.
But we find that some things that were out there for so long, they are coming into our spaces way many years later.
Yeah.
Like the money personalities. And so that you find in the, it's online.
Yeah.
The money personalities. Somebody
Yeah.
can do a test and find out what they are all about. Money trauma as well. It's online. You can find out where you are at.
Yes.
Most of us are affected by this.
Yeah.
And this will also affect how you're going to show up as a couple in the family setting.
Yes.
Because there are people who are such compulsive spenders. Somebody was telling a story of how their husband was such a spender. And by the way, we attract opposites. A spender will attract a saver, and the other way around.
Yeah.
And so in this couple, the man was the spender.
Yes.
And the wife was just saying he would spend money faster than he made it. And so he would go, he went, they were going they were preparing for their wedding. And so they were going to look for a hall to book for their wedding. And the guy says, oh, just give me 2 minutes, I'll be back. And he's gone to look for the washroom. 20 minutes, the guy hasn't come back. So she went looking for him. And she finds him bargaining to buy 2 dogs. So she's like, but we came to look out for a venue for our wedding.
Yeah.
What are you doing with dogs? Hey, oh, no, these dogs are the best, you know. And he convinced her. And she didn't want to quarrel. So he convinced her how that was a good idea.
Yeah.
And they bought the dogs. And he would just show up with compulsive things that he would just bring into the home. And at first, she was very frustrated because she was a saver, he was a spender. But long story short, God helped her know how to turn the man around. Because again, money conversations are not very easy to have. One of the reasons is because they've not been heard where we are coming from.
Yeah.
So this is something we are coming to begin. You know, when you get married or as you're courting, you've not had these conversations.
Yeah.
You've not seen your parents talk about money and teach you about money.
Yes.
So you're beginning. And so she really prayed. Because at first when she tried to talk to him about that, it ended up in a quarrel. And she was like, no, God, what do I do about this?
Yeah.
And God gave her such a wise way of now taming that husband's spending into saving. And she also got a share to be able to spend so that they are not just saving to a point that they're almost going hungry because they are saving.
Yeah.
And so what God told her was that any time he is asking for money, that time they didn't have a joint account or anything. And that's the other thing that people need to talk about, you know, how the accounts will be, and we'll talk about it shortly. And so that time they had separate accounts. And so every time the man would want to buy something, she didn't quarrel, and she would just keep not talking about it. But God gave her a wise way of being able to, on the hindsight, save some money for the man. So that every time he wanted to, he's doing something, for example, he would buy a dog worth 100,000 shillings. And she had the money, she would save for him. So he's spending here, but she's also saving.
Yeah.
And she thought, in her mind, she thought, I'm going to save this money until he's 50. When he's 50 years, I'll give him the money. And so one time he wanted money for something, and she had the money. So every time he wanted money, somehow she ended up being the one who's managing their money.
Yeah.
So she'd give him money. So and he kept asking, how long? How come you always have money and I'm always broke?
Yeah.
He's making money but broke. And she was like, I am saving. I have been saving, and this is how I've been doing it. So you see, that was a clever way of bringing the man into saving, while investing, while still spending, and not just spending all the money. So what are we saying? There is a lot of wisdom that is needed for the money talks.
Yeah.
And also knowing that what we don't talk about becomes a wall between the couple. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
What we don't talk about becomes a wall, so that it is going to be the one that is going to cause the couple not to have intimacy, financial intimacy. Okay. And you see, all these intimacies are interconnected.
Yes.
Spiritual intimacy connected to emotional intimacy, connected to financial intimacy, connected to physical intimacy.
Yeah.
And if one of them is not working,
there's a challenge.
Yeah, and it will affect all these others. Okay. Because trust will start being, eroding. And when trust starts eroding, if I'm having secret accounts, that's already a wall.
Yes.
So that means spiritually, I'm lying. I mean, we cannot say that what he doesn't know doesn't harm him. Yeah. It still does. Yeah. It still does. And me knowing that I'm keeping these things from him or from her, that means I will stand before him naked but very ashamed. Yeah. Okay. And then it starts affecting now the other facets and the other dimensions. Okay. Of the couple relationship. Okay. I'm trying to think whether that is all we talked about. There was something else we talked about. Conversations to be had. Yes. In courtship. And we said that this is important, that these conversations are had before you get married. Yes. Some of them will deepen as you move on into marriage, but these are conversations that should be had during courtship, so that you can even check and see whether that liaison is going to work or not. Yeah. And like we are saying, money conversations are not the easiest, but they should be done. For example, the spending habits. You'll be able to see, and you can be able to know. You may not be living together, but if somebody, I had a neighbor one time who packed a Mark X, and he was living in a bedsitter, but he had a 3-point. That time the Mark X's had just come. Yes. He had a 3-point something M car. Yes. And he's living in this big house. I mean, in this small house. Yes. So that already would tell you, if I was his girlfriend, I'd be thinking, how are your priorities? How are you packing this millions car and you're living in a 10K house? Yes. Yeah. That says something there. Yeah. And then, what are their priorities? What are their values? Yes. What is money to them? For some people, money is love. That when they have a lot of money, when you're giving them money, they feel loved. So that means when there'll be no money, there'll be no love. Yes. Then for some, money is power. Yeah, whoever has the money has the power. And that is very many of us, because remember, we are coming from a place of lack. Yeah. So what happens when there is an imbalance of the salaries? Yeah. And nowadays we know the ladies are earning more than the men. Many women are earning more money than the men. So where will the leadership of this man be then? Yeah. If the power is with the one who has the money. Yeah. So how are you going to remove the power from the money? So that then you're not here fighting and quarreling about money all the time. Debt and financial obligations that either of you have for their families. These are conversations that should be had way in courtship. So by the time you're getting married, you decide. If it's a problem for you that half the salary of the man will be going to educate his siblings, then that is said way earlier than now they are married and then she's like, no, you cannot be giving Mother all that money. You cannot be giving Dad all that money.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think we should be doing this. And then again, conflict ensues.
Yes.
So these are conversations that should have been had way before. Lifestyles and the kind of lifestyle they are going to have.
Yeah.
Where are they going to live? You know? Will they want to own their own home one day? Is this person averse to owning a house? Because there are people who are like that. There are people who are like, we live now. We live today, tomorrow will take care of itself.
Yeah.
Yes, but however, a future is coming. Will you? How about children? Are you planning to have children? Because children are great blessing. And nowadays, by the way, there are people who don't want to have children.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is, again, personal, whatever.
Choices,
but know about it.
Yeah.
A child comes, that is an extra expense.
Yes.
Where will you live? Which neighborhoods are good?
Yeah.
And some of the neighborhoods that are good are expensive.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do about that?
Yeah.
What about schools? Because if with a child, then you have to move to a neighborhood that has these amenities. It has schools and good schools.
Yeah.
It has hospitals.
Yes.
It has a church. So that you're not living on Mombasa Road. Your child is going to school in Ruiru, and you're going to church in, I don't know where.
Yes.
Some other far place. There won't be much sense. So
Okay.
there'll be need to decide and talk about the lifestyles. What about work?
Yeah.
There are men also who are averse to their wives working.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they say, no wife of mine is going to work. Don't wait until you have her in the house to tell her.
Yeah. Tell her early.
Tell her early. Then she can decide whether she wants to work or not. There are also other ladies nowadays who have very good jobs, but they plan that when they get married, they're going to quit work.
Yeah.
Have a conversation
Yes.
about that.
Yes.
Because what is coming up also is that men respect a woman who works, a woman who has her own finances, because it becomes easy to shoulder the burden of and the responsibility, the financial responsibility in the home. But these are conversations that should have been had way earlier.
Okay.
Then there was the emotional triggers that come with and boundaries that come with money.
Yes.
You know, there are people who hear money and they just don't want, they're triggered. And that is because of the kind of background they are coming from. So there is need for couples and people to heal from money trauma.
Yeah.
And some of this, again, somebody might pray it out, and the prayer is good, but sometimes the prayer will need therapeutic support.
Yeah.
So that the couple is able to see some of the deeply suited fears and shame that comes with money, because money also can also bring a lot of shame.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember one time we were going we had this couples fellowship we used to have.
Yes.
And that time we didn't have a car. And so every time the planners planned for far places, and there were no Ubers then.
Yeah.
There were taxis, but there were no Ubers. My husband and I had to get a lift from one of the other ones.
Yes.
And at some point, it became shameful, because now every time when they are planning, they would always be like, and who's going to drop Kina Vicky? And with time, we stopped attending. Yeah, we stopped attending. I was like, I don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I don't like that conversation around who's going to drop them. The way it is being said, it brought me shame. For me, it brought me shame. Well, my husband didn't insist. I think men are very either resilient or passive, or he was like,
You need to get there, so
it makes sense.
yes.
But however, that brought shame. And we stopped attending.
Yeah.
And later they were like, the couples were like, oh, why? Well, like, for now, we are just taking some time out, but we'll come back. But we never went back. So there's a way money can also bring shame.
Yeah.
Because of the past experiences that we have had, where money is concerned.
Yeah.
So there's also a need to do a personal audit and see where am I where money is concerned.
Okay.
Because wherever you are at, that is what you're going to show up with.
Yes.
In the relationship.
Yes.
And then so instead of keeping on quarreling about money and seeking to control the other person because of money, as you heal yourself,
Yes.
then as you're coming as a healed person.
Yes.
From the money personalities and the downsides that you have
Yes.
had with money, and the relationship you have had with money, whether it's a good one or a bad one, so that the relationship is not in distress because of money. Because finances is one of the other reasons that couples are in a lot of distress. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are not able to have the conversations, and that conversations come because of where people are coming from and the relationship they have had with money.
Okay.
And how money is presented to them, how they have found other ways to make money that are not good. That is the other one.
Yes.
Yeah. That also needs to be addressed.
Okay.
And somebody should come clean and say, you know, or stop that thing
Yes.
that you have been doing.
Yes.
If you have been getting money in dubious ways,
Yes.
you know, somebody should be able to come out and stop it. Because again, we've also heard of how homes that are auctioned, everything, because you know, somebody went to the Shylock and got these loans, or they've been selling drugs.
Yeah.
And then they are caught, you know, all these things. Even Christians are doing the same also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Viewers, I hope you're following. We are just about to take a break, actually. But before we do that, I think she's mentioned quite a number of things that I think are very important for us to take note of. But I think the most important is heal you.
Yes.
Deal with your personal issues as an individual, isn't it? And then from there now you will show up. It determines how you show up in a relationship.
Very true.
And I think that's important, and that's one key takeaway we need to have from this conversation. In fact, if we forget everything, everything that you've told us, I just think that is a very important aspect. How am I showing up in my relationship? How am I showing up in my marriage? Because how you show up is actually, it's the same thing we'll pass on to our children.
Very true.
So if we are not okay, we will not be able to pass on the right things to children.
Yes.
But I want to trigger something before we take the break. There's just an interesting research I came across that talks about family finances. I'll just read and then we can discuss it if we'll have to take the break after that. But it says 67% of families say they want to leave an inheritance. But more than a third are unsure if they will be able to do so. So there's the interest versus reality. Okay. Then 30% of families say they have joint bank accounts versus keeping finances separate. So majority are keeping their finances separately. Okay. Nearly 1 in 6 families are not open to receiving financial advice from other family members. Interesting. And then on average, they say these are Americans, not Africans. They start planning for retirement at age 30.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Then apparently Gen Z start earlier. Interesting. At 23. They want to retire early. Okay. Then only 18% of families include support for aging parents in their financial planning. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just looking at these statistics. These are statistics given to us on a research that was done on family finances.
Yes.
And it will be interesting to see how this relates to us, but also what our viewers think about it. What do you think about it? Do you consciously and deliberately plan to leave an inheritance, for example? Because from our discussion and from, you know, what we know, majority are still struggling for themselves. They have not yet even started thinking for the next generation. So how do we have these conversations and how do we change that? Because we know even scripture says a righteous man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. So to grandchildren, not even the children. So those are conversations that I hope we can have this morning. But I want you to share with us your comments. What do you think about this? When do you start planning for your retirement?
Yeah.
Do you plan for your parents? You know, do you plan how you will take care of them? And also for yourself. What are you planning about yourself? Because these are important conversations, and if we can have them in the families,
awesome.
Yeah, it will help us to build a stronger future for ourselves and for our children. And then the interesting aspect of majority prefer to have separate accounts. I'm keen to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, and I'm very happy to give it.
Yeah, so I think we can take a break now, and then when we come back, please keep those comments coming. We'll look at them, we'll read them, and then of course Vicky will share with us her thoughts on all these issues when we come back. So we are taking a break right about now. We'll see you in a bit.
I was there last year.
We were here.
Every session was breathtaking.
Very transformational.
And this year, 2025, we are back.
This July at Uhuru Park Gardens, Nairobi City, 17th to 19th July from 9 a.m.
We want to invite you for the Standing Strong Ministers Conference 2025.
Let's all gather in the presence of the Lord.
This is the theme, but you be strong and do not let your hands be weak, for your work shall be rewarded. 2 Chronicles 15:7.
Be ready for a great encounter.
You'll see the grace and the glory of God.
With the host, Apostle David Juma, stands a battalion of purpose-driven guest ministers. Bishop Kefa Omaye, Pastor Asunta Juma, Bishop Dr. Titus Masika, Prophet Paul Mwaniki, Pastor T. Mwangi, Pastor George Masharia, Apostle Othniel Mwabili, and Bishop Mark Kegohi. Worship ministers Jane Alla, Mercy Masika, Apostle John Wesley, and Fred Obare.
You are most welcome. Prepare yourself. Let's come.
This is something you don't want to miss out on.
Don't miss this meeting.
And it is absolutely free.
See you at the Standing Strong Ministers Conference 2025.
Welcome back. We are continuing with our discussion on money matters in the family. And before we continue with our conversation, again, I want to remind you the Standing Strong Ministers Conference is happening next week. Please check out our socials and register for the conference. Plan to attend so that you can be blessed, you can be built up, you can be edified as we serve the Lord. Okay, so we had ended our earlier segment when we were talking about, you know, a research that was done that talks about majority of couples prefer to have separate bank accounts. And I said, I'm keen to hear your thoughts on that.
Wow, why I'm laughing is because it is very true.
Yeah.
That may be an American-based research.
Yes.
But even in Kenya, most couples don't operate joint accounts, and the joint accounts don't work for them. I know I tried it early in my marriage.
Yes.
It did not work. And this is because of the differences in our spending habits.
Yeah.
And so it can still work. And with money, let me say, there may be no one-size-fits-all solution. Because we are coming from all manner of places, diverse personalities, diverse money personalities, diverse incomes, diverse family of origins. So it is for the two of you to sit and work with what works for the two of you. But before we get into that, let me ask us, what kind of a marriage do you want to have?
Okay.
There are 3 types of marriages.
Okay.
We have the cultural marriage. The cultural marriage favors the man.
Okay.
It has the man as the superior. And it tends to oppress the ladies a little bit.
Okay.
And then this one is all about man's superiority, and that relationship is the woman is dependent on the man. Then we have the contemporary marriage, and these are Christian marriages, by the way. Types of Christian marriages. Then we have the contemporary marriage. The contemporary marriage has now favors the woman more.
Okay.
It talks about equality.
Yes.
The 50-50 thing. And there's a problem because even from our makeup, because equality means same.
Yes.
Even from the way we are made, men and women,
we are not the
same. We are not the same.
Yeah.
And if man is to be the leader, how will he be same? For me, a family is like an institution.
Yes.
An organization.
Yes.
CEO is CEO. And the helper to the CEO is not CEO.
Yes.
CEO is CEO. The leader is the leader.
Yes.
And then now we have the kingdom marriage. The kingdom marriage has to do with God's purpose.
Yes.
And looks at equity. Where we are bringing our differences together in unity.
Yes.
So once you know what kind of a marriage you're going to have, again, some of these things will be able to be worked out very easily.
Yeah.
Because when now a man says or a woman says we are going to have, I'm the one who's in charge, this is how we are going to do things, then that tells you where your marriage is going to fall.
Yeah.
And God is not going to be there in the contemporary. He'll still not be Lord and King in the cultural.
Yes.
God is going to be Lord and King in the kingdom marriage.
Yes.
So a couple has to decide what it is what kind of marriage do they want to have.
Yes.
And we have a lot of influence from culture and from society and from social media and from whatever is going on.
Yeah.
So it is up to us, first of all, to decide this is our goal, kingdom marriage. So with kingdom marriage, then how are we going to align ourselves to get there?
Okay.
Having said that, joint accounts and separate accounts, it doesn't mean that just because now you have a joint account, then your marriage is good quality. It doesn't mean that.
Okay.
There are people who operate separate accounts and their marriage is working.
Yes.
What I would root for is accountability.
Yeah.
Whatever account you're running, accountability.
Okay.
For some people, they have separate accounts. Like I said, my joint account did not work. First of all, we didn't even have the literacy. And then, my husband is a saver, I am a spender. I was feeling shortchanged. You can see why it didn't work.
Yes. you see where the issue was.
Yes. I was feeling shortchanged.
Yeah.
Because I'm feeling, I'm going to work. So why do we have to put all the money here?
Yeah.
And then you are the sole signatory for this.
Yes.
So I was like, no, this isn't working. So if you're going to have a joint account, you should both be signatories to that account. And then you really have to have the mandate to talk about the runnings of that joint account.
Yes.
So that Victoria, doesn't feel like I have to keep going to ask for permission to come and get you, we go and withdraw money because I need money for so and so and so and this.
Yeah.
So that's one way. So accountability. Number one, whether it's separate or joint account, you need accountability.
Okay.
And transparency in what is happening in those accounts. Other couples everybody has their own account, but they have a joint account as well.
Yeah.
And the joint account, they agree, this will be for running this.
Yeah.
The joint account, we receive our salaries there,
or we receive our salaries in this main account,
then we transfer into the other accounts.
Yes.
So that there's freedom to be able, there's freedom in financial use.
Yes.
So that now, maybe I'm in town and my shoe, I don't know, did what, and I don't have petty cash on me.
Yeah.
I have to grab somebody all the way from Mombasa Road to come to town so that we can consign.
Yeah.
I'm able to get the money out. So there still need to be a lot of accountability, a lot of talks. There's no one size fits all. Accountability, transparency.
Okay.
Whatever account you're going to run.
Okay.
Don't have secret accounts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one there now, that one will not help anything in the relationship. Because by the time I'm having a secret account, it's because I don't trust him as a woman.
Yeah.
If I'm going to have a secret account, it's because I don't trust my husband.
Okay.
So, and again, we said once, trust is very fragile. And when it starts cracking in the finances, it will crack in all the other dimensions of the relationship. So secret accounts, those ones will not help.
Okay.
So for the accounts, accountability, transparency.
Okay.
But the couple should be able to talk and agree on what works. But also remember to remove the power from the money.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Viewers, I hope you're following our discussion. Thank you for those that are joining us live. Kindly share any comments or questions you have, and then Vicky will be able to respond to them as we go along. Yeah. Now, then there's the other question now of the future generations. Yeah. How do we factor that in? I know I want us to discuss on a few of the solutions.
Yeah.
I know you've already touched on having money dates, you know, so that you talk about finances.
Yes.
But just before we go to that, what are your thoughts on planning for future generations?
Wonderful. Brilliant. My take would be, it is important what we leave. The inheritance is what we leave in
the children.
In the children.
Okay.
Number one, in. And then for the children.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I hear you.
Is that making sense?
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, maybe let me just cut you short a little. There's a relative of ours one time who was talking to my husband, and I was listening. And he said something very interesting, that you don't have to leave, you don't have to give anything to your children, but give it to your grandchildren. And he had a very interesting thought behind that. He said, because if you give to your children and your children live a lavish lifestyle, chances of them being able to survive are lower, because they don't know how to work hard and how to struggle for what they have.
Yes.
So he said, let them struggle, because they will teach their children to struggle. But now you pass on your whatever you have to your grandchildren. They will already have been taught how to, you know, work hard for what they want.
Yes.
And then it keeps going that way. Yeah. And I thought, very interesting.
Yes.
And then I also followed the royal family in the UK quite a bit, just to understand, from when I was very young. So then I realized that you find the princess now, Princess of Wales, is putting on a crown that belonged to a queen. Sometimes you even find a queen who lived, I don't know, in 1918 or 30s and all that.
Yes.
So you find that they have wealth that has been well passed on through the generations, and it's worth millions of dollars or pounds, because these are real, maybe diamonds, etc., etc. How do we, you know, have a balance in terms of teaching our children, because I like what you say, in them, because it is what is in them that will help them take care of what you leave for them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do we have that balance?
Yeah.
Because we have two scenarios here. One is saying, no, don't give your children, give your grandchildren.
Yes.
The other one is saying, no, the other one we see. It's just coming down.
Yeah.
From one generation to another generation. And it looks like they're not even missing a bit. Yeah.
I agree. And I agree. When, as a parent, you leave inheritance in your children, that means you will have taught them financial literacy and wellness. You'll have sorted out their money trauma issues.
Yes.
You will teach them how to create wealth the right way.
Yes.
And after creating that wealth, you will teach them how to maintain the wealth.
Yeah.
You will teach them work ethics. You will teach them all that they need to know about how you have created your wealth and how they can continue and how they can pass it on.
Yeah.
We have seen in this country many wealthy families
Yeah.
where the parents were very wealthy, and the minute they are gone, the children are left taking each other to court.
Yeah.
And all that wealth just, goes to
waste.
To waste.
Or to lawyers.
To lawyers. And it doesn't help
Yeah.
these children, and for sure it will not help their children's children. We have seen other families, very wealthy, doing very well, but the minute their physical inheritance is left to them, prodigals and kaimanenos go and just waste it all.
Yes.
Because that inheritance was not left in them.
Yeah.
So for our families, it's saying, you as a parent, that for that continuity to happen, have you taught your children how to create wealth? Because again, money trauma. We grew up in lack.
Yeah.
So when I get money, my children are going to have all this lavish kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I'm not teaching them, how to make that money.
Yeah.
I am not teaching them how to do basic life skills.
Yes.
I have a friend a rich human, but in his house, his children had to learn how to cook.
Yeah.
His children did chores. His children cleaned their own. He had a help in the house, but he said, "This is my help." Yes.
Not yours.
Not yours.
You pay for your own.
You will clean your own things. You
Yes.
will do this for yourself. You will
Yes.
do this for yourself. That cultivates a resilience and helps the children learn how to solve their own problems, age appropriate as they grow.
Okay.
But when you give it all to them, then you clip their wings. That is why now when they have that money, it will go to drugs and this lavish kind of lifestyle. Then it will not help them.
Okay.
If you look at the Indians in this country, yes?
Yes.
The Indians, on Saturdays when you go to that shop or during holidays of midterm, you find small children there, with their parents,
Yes.
seeing what the parents are doing.
Yes.
From a very small age. But then again, you don't force all into the business. Because if you put somebody like Victoria who's not business oriented, Victoria is more talking,
Yes.
and you put her in your business,
Yeah.
she may not be able to do the nitty-gritty of the business. Give Victoria sales.
Yeah.
That needs to be taught. So
Yes.
look at your children and see
Yeah.
who will fit where. And from a small age, from when they are young, not when
Yes.
they are teenagers, they'll rebel.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you didn't start it early enough. But even teenagers is not late. Have a conversation.
Yes.
A candid conversation and say, hey, things are changing, because I want you to continue. I want this to continue to my children's children. Because even if you leave the physical inheritance to the grandchildren, who will be managing it? See me, Victoria.
Yeah.
For my son. See, I will still do the things that I would still have done because there isn't that thing in me.
Yeah.
So for parents, teach your children life skills. Life skill, work ethic, the simple financial literacy.
Yes.
Don't give them money just like that. Let them earn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because money reveals character. And even if somebody with a lot of money without character, that money is going to ruin them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So as a parent, you have to see the end goal in mind. You want an inheritance for your children's children. Leave some substantial inheritance in the children.
Okay.
In terms of skills to manage, to make, and to keep that wealth.
Okay.
Then leave now the physical wealth for them.
Okay.
So in them and for them.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, viewers. Thank you. Belinda, you're saying learning a lot. Thank you for tuning in. We have a question actually from Emma.
Yes.
Emma is asking, there are businesses my husband runs and every time he says no money. So I decided to have my own account to cater for my needs. What do you think about that?
Our conversations need to be had.
Okay.
Anything that is not being discussed creates a wall.
Okay.
Between the couple.
Okay.
And already you see now, for our listener, she's not feeling secure. She's not feeling safe. Because if every time I'm asking for you to take care of my needs, you're telling me there's no money. Now I've had to resort to having a secret account or another account.
Yeah.
Because you are not taking care of me. So socially we are still going to have a rift.
Yeah.
Physical intimacy will start having a problem because I don't trust you. Where are you taking that money from that business anyway that we are not discussing?
Yeah.
Spiritually, we'll go to church and I'll be looking at you with a side eye. You know, I will not trust you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a conversation needs to be had, and that's where we talked about money dates.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just push this a little.
Yes.
This is not what she is saying.
Yes.
But let me just put myself in her shoes and
Yes.
ask. So what if I have tried? You know, I've tried to say, we need to talk about this or we need to do this and it's not working. What recourse do I have?
There might be need to bring in a therapy.
Okay.
Because what is going to eventually happen in this relationship is that things are just going to start dying in the relationship.
Okay.
Parts and bits and pieces of the relationship will start dying.
Okay.
Because I can't trust him.
Okay.
I can't trust him, so I don't feel safe. As a woman, safety and security is very important.
Yes.
Financially, physically, always.
Yeah.
Emotionally. So if I can't trust you with money, I can't trust you in all other ways. So I'm going to start self-preserving and self-serving myself.
Okay.
Because you are not taking care of my needs anyway.
Okay.
Then now they'll start just slowly drifting apart. Yeah. So sometimes that's when now you bring in a therapist who is a neutral party.
Yes.
That will be able to help have that conversation.
Okay.
Before it is too late. Remember, this is also a couple that cannot leave anything in their children and for their children.
Yeah.
Because already for the two of them, they are not able to have that unity.
Yeah.
That is needed for the kingdom marriage. Yeah.
Okay.
So probably the guy is in the cultural way of thinking as a married man.
Okay.
Which doesn't help much in the kingdom marriage.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Fanny is saying thanks for the show. I'm learning a lot. Thank you for tuning in. Now, let's now look at how do we deal with some of the challenges that we find in marriage. You'd already given us one.
Yes.
Which is having money dates. Discussing. So what happens in the event that one party is not willing, and then you find now they're even not willing because those are realities that people deal with. They are not willing to have a therapist or any other third party come in to assist. What recourse that somebody have?
Somebody is going to be in a lot of trouble when any marriage that loses influence over each other.
Oh.
Yeah. When a marriage loses influence, then that is the beginning of
the end.
Yes.
Wow.
And even if, because today we have modern divorces where people are living together but are not together for the sake of the church.
Yeah.
Miserable life. So anybody who really wants to keep their marriage, their family together, themselves, and remember, quality of your life is determined by quality of your relationships.
Yes.
So if you're having a bad relationship with your wife or with your husband, quality of your life is not good. So there's need to come back and figure out where did we start separating and drifting.
Yeah.
So that again we can try and come back together.
Yeah.
Because the minute the couple starts drifting, you're opening the door for the enemy.
Yeah.
And he will come in and sweep that house and bring a lot of chaos in that home.
Okay.
So for a couple that are not able to have financial conversations, remember I've already said, whatever you're not able to discuss will be a wall between the two of you.
Yeah.
And the finances is one of those conversations that just, once you are, like you said, when you get that right, then the other dimensions go really well.
Yeah.
But when that conversation is not being had, a lot of things will go wrong in that home. So yes, seek, of course you're praying as well.
Yeah.
Some of these battles, you win them on your knees.
Yes.
You're praying for him, and then you're asking God to show you, like that couple I was sharing, when God showed the wife
how to
just turn things around, instead of just verbally quarreling all the time.
Yes.
With ladies, we are gifted that. I've told you this, and if that will not work with a man, just sit and ask God to give you divine ideas that will help him turn him around. You're praying, and yes, some diseases we have to seek extra help. The same way We get Homer, we do the things,
Dawa.
those dawa things. The dawa things don't work. Then I realize for me right now, I need to go and see a doctor. Dawa hasn't worked. I need to go and see a doctor.
Yeah.
It is not wrong, and I'm not saying that God is not working. And I think we're talking another time, and you say that God's miracle just speeds up the healing process.
Yes.
And that miracle can come in form of dawa. I mean, medicine. It can come in form of dawa, prayer. It can come in form of me going to see a doctor to get treated.
Yes.
So for the couple where they are not having this conversation, that is really risky, because that means their relationship is in a lot of distress, and the distress will keep adding and snowballing into a very big thing, and that is the beginning of a lot of problems for their relationship. And yes, well, hopefully, eventually, they will seek therapeutic help. Sometimes you may have to go in a roundabout way and seek for a man who can talk to the man. If the man is the one who is not listening, start from there.
Yes.
Or have a conversation with the wife if the wife is the one who is not listening. Somebody who has influence over them. But for any married couple or anybody in a relationship, the day your influence diminishes, where you can't influence each other, meaning you're not hearing each other.
Okay. Okay.
That's the beginning of a lot of problems.
Okay. Wow. Wow. Okay, viewers, I hope you are following and getting the nuggets that we are receiving. This morning we are talking about money matters in the family setting. Okay. So I think you had maybe prepared to share with us a few more nuggets. Maybe you can just share.
Yes.
Our time is really running. I told you have like 5 or so minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah.
We can try and work with the 5 minutes.
Yes.
So realizing that even in the marital relationship and in the family, your money should be married as well.
Okay.
Yes. I think I said that the other time.
Yes.
With this thing of saying that the money is, my money as a wife is mine, but then my husband's money is ours. That's a lie. Yeah, that's a lie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That will not work unless that is what you have agreed for you guys. Because I know there are guys who agree that way. That you wife, you keep your money. Me, I will take care of everything as a man. Cool.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us, the money should get married too. So that as you are working towards oneness, even
oneness.
Yes, even financially, we are working towards that oneness through transparency and honest conversations. Plan for money dates. At least once a month, if not twice.
Okay.
Where you just go out, don't have it in your house. Go out somewhere, eat, take coffee, and spend like a whole 3-4 hours discussing money. Furnish yourself with financial literacy and financial wellness. YouTube is full of that. AI has come to answer all our problems.
Yes.
Go Google, check out, talk to financial advisors who can help you, know how to deal with your money. But even if they come and you're not having that conversation with the two of you, that will not work.
Okay.
Financial oneness means no secret accounts. Whatever accounts you're going to have, let there be accountability and transparency. Where I know that Victoria has 1 million in this account and Mike has 3 million in that account, then in this other account we have 50,000 shillings. What are we doing with all this money? Or we have zero money. So what are you going to do about it? You know? What are you going to do about these things? And then remove the power from the money.
Okay.
There are enough problems in marriage without adding and challenges, without money being a problem. Money is good. However, it should not be the one that is ruining and running your relationship as a couple and as a family. How do you remove the power? Put it in a common pot. So that I'm not here saying, I'm handing 1 million, you're just bringing in 40,000 shillings. How is that 40,000 helping us? Already there's pride. And then now I'll start feeling like I am the head of this house. So bring in the money. Let me put my 1 million there, bring your 40K, and then now we distribute. This pays school fees, this does this, this does this, this does this. You still have a salary. We agree. You are going to get this money. Victoria is going to get this money. Then I'm not there now wondering, how am I bringing all this money and nothing? I still have to come back to you to ask for some money. And then grow together. Grow together as a couple.
Okay.
Financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all as you're growing, as your body is growing and aging and maturing, you should also be growing together. So that I don't have information that I'm not sharing with my partner. Because if I'm empowered, he's not empowered. conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah. So grow together
Okay.
and agree together. Financial literacy is important, and wellness. Literacy has to do with the budgeting, the saving,
Yeah.
the investing.
Yeah.
And we talked about trying to save and invest so that you have money to take care of you as a family for 6 months. Stuff happens.
Yeah.
And COVID taught us that.
Yes.
So what happens if that stuff happens? How do we move on?
Yeah.
And then live within your means. Live within your means. These things of going to live in places you're paying 60,000 shillings. And it's not a mortgage.
Yeah.
You're actually paying rent for 60K. And you're not even saving, like you're saying, saving and investing for your retirement.
Yeah.
Retirement comes sooner than we think.
Yeah, yeah.
We always think it's there,
Yeah.
but it comes sooner than we think.
True.
So some of those things, there are things that you need to sit and agree. You know, we don't have to pay rent for 60K here. We can do a mortgage.
Yeah.
So we are paying 60K, but this house eventually
Belongs
becomes
to
ours.
us,
Or we
yeah.
can save and build our own home. You know, things that you can agree
Yeah.
and agree on. Financial wellness has to do with dealing with the financial trauma that you grew up with.
Yes.
The healing. Because healed people heal other people. Financial trauma happened in a relationship. So there's a very high possibility that the healing will also happen in a relationship, but with a healed person.
Okay.
And then let's say that your worth is not defined by your bank balance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, your worth is not determined by your bank balance. Your bank balance may be showing negative figures,
Yes.
but your worth is a way more. It just depends on how and what you're doing with what you have and the giftings that God has given you in terms of work.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, thank you. You've taken exactly 5 minutes. So thank you. So viewers, that's all we had time for today. We'll be at it again the second Thursday of August. We'll be here to talk about family and relationships. So please make a date with us. But I'll be here again next Thursday. We'll have a show. So please tune in. But again, final reminder of the Standing Strong Ministers Conference that's taking place next week. Please check out on our socials and sign up and come so that you can be built up and assisted to serve God's people. Okay. So we have come to the end of our show today. I think, Vicky, just like 2 seconds.
Yes.
Because I know the producers will be shortly looking at me badly. Just say where people can find you in case they need help, and then we close the show.
0712-608-547.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say it again.
0712-608-547.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in case you need help, that's the number. You can replay and then you get it and get the help that you need. We are here really for you. So that's all we've had time for. I've been your host, Laureen Magotsi. Until next time, thank you and God bless you.